Come on, please. Yes! 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 Yes!
Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is episode number 47 of the 9 Dial Podcast, your one-stop shop for talking tungsten. It's Lorenzo and Josh back in for another week here online. Here, a podcast studio for us to move into is not too far away. But Josh, how are you on this Wednesday? We should time code this. It's about 12:30 on a Wednesday afternoon here in Melbourne.
Similar time to last week, yeah.
It's been a big week in darts. A lot has happened. I want to say a lot of good stuff has happened. There's no volcanoes this week. Nothing for me to get upset about. Things have been going quite well in the world of darts, it must be said.
Yes, more good than bad, which is what we love to see. So no, it's been a very good week, very action-packed, and there's so much to get through as always. So let's get cracking.
It's not good when there's like stuff to whinge about.
Right?
This sport is good enough without any of the stuff that might get people distracted and that sort of thing. But we got the Premier League, which was probably the main thing that happened. Well, it really was the main thing that happened. And we put in the results in a slide later on, Josh. But I thought it was a very good night. I thought it was a great atmosphere, which is what you expect for the very first night of the Premier League. Before people get bored of the format, there's been a lot of darts in the south of England, with obviously Minehead and London and Milton Keynes. So Newcastle, which is up in the north. So people up there got a bit of action for the first time in a while. So overall, I thought it was a strong night, and I thought everyone, even the losers, played like really good stuff. So I thought I really enjoyed the first night, and I've said this for a couple of episodes now. I'm really looking forward to Antwerp night 2 coming up.
No, I agree. I think the first night sort of sets the tone for what the Premier League could be, and obviously a couple debutants. Obviously Clayton came back, but Rock was great. Van Veen obviously made it all the way to the final. So those guys really stood out. Again, really good results, but overall, really good quality games as well. Even like your man Bunting, who lost, he still played well, like 97 average. Like that's good quality stuff despite the loss. So
it's about to turn a corner, Josh. I am hopeful.
Think so?
Things are about to turn in good directions for Stephen.
So.
Even if I'm not saying he's like gonna make finals now or anything like that, but hopefully things are going his way here. And a lot of the Premier League guys were not at the Pro Tour event, so many will be fresh and ready to go for an historic night in Antwerp. But talking of the Pro Tour, we had a couple of really bizarre moments when not once but twice in 2 days did people forget how the order of these sort of things. So when William O'Connor did it the first time against Murray van der Harder during Players Championship 1, we were like, oh, okay, this has never happened before. And then Gary Anderson does it the very next day. Now, thankfully, Gary threw one dart and then realised he was immediately wrong, and then got out of Sebastian Milczecki's way. But O'Connor and van der Harder each threw, did one turn before anybody realised, hang on, Mario was supposed to throw first in that leg. So look, it's a odd thing to sometimes when you're playing darts, you sort of lose track. I think Gary in particular was sort of like that. He was just ready to go on and start again. You just sort of forget where you are.
Well, my question is, how did the ref not figure that out? Surely, when you're putting anything into Dark Connect, you're like, oh, that doesn't add up, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's strange.
Yeah. So that's the problem with these sort of things, and the referee was a bit slow in with the Gary one. The Gary one was different. That was Gary just getting ahead of himself. But with the van der Harder O'Connor one, that one was just poorly done from everyone involved, who just forgot the entire situation there. Whereas in the second one, Gary just went to through once and went, oh, I wasn't supposed to do that. And immediately apologized and took the dart out of the board. But bizarre to see that happen on back-to-back days after.
I know. Not once.
After we never really seen it before on a streaming board. But even just as amusing, in a Players Championship, I think this was the second Players Championship. See if I can play this. Gary
102.
Martin Lukeman. Martin Lukeman, you saw, started with 142. He's left tops, and Gurney's back on 175. So he's going to get a look at tops here. But Daryl Gurney completely forgot what he was looking for. He takes out the 142, a big celebration. He goes up, and the referee's like, hang on a minute. That's not it. No, you were on 175, Daryl. It was Martin Lukeman who was on 142.
Oh, sorry.
Left tops. I don't know why Lukeman was all apologetic in the background. He did nothing wrong. He He left
No, it's not his
himself.
fault.
He left himself nice and handy. It's a good setup there for Johnny to leave 33.
Then I said if he comes back, you have to burn a dart at least. So
yeah.
that's really amusing. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I only saw that just before we
Oh.
got underway as well.
There
So
you go.
Daryl,
very
we're
funny.
just forgetting. So they were their crazy moments from the Pro Tour events. Why is this not working? Move. No, wrong way. There we go. That's better. A few more. James Hurrell hitting a 9-darter during Players Championship event. Two
Yes.
and Gabriel Clemens as well. We like to mention all the 9-darters that happened. Only these graphics because there wasn't on streaming boards.
I
But,
know.
that's
well.
one day, Josh will have all 16 stream boards. I saw a few people were struggling to bring up certainly one of the streaming boards during Play Championship 1. So at the moment they can only do the 4.
On
well done,
PDC
Clemens.
TV, yeah. Are you still planning of trying to get PDC TV?
Maybe I'll think about it. I wouldn't mind having it at some point.
Yeah.
So I'll continue
It is
to
nice to have.
think about it.
Nice to have.
It would be nice to have. Especially at like a UK Open where you've only got the board. So now you want
You got all this.
the guy
Yeah.
I really want is on board 6. So let me bring up there. So maybe we'll see. But with regards to the Premier League, Newcastle night 1, it was Michael van Gerwen who immediately heard that I said he was going to struggle in the Premier League and then just said, I'll show him. He won the first night in Newcastle, beating Bunting 6-2, Humphreys 6-2, and then Van Veen in the final. As I said earlier, Josh, strong night from everyone involved. But Michael van Gerwen going top of the Premier League. It's only night 1, so the standings doesn't mean much of anything.
No, of course.
Half the guys are on nothing, and always had to be when you're playing a league format. But where it's a win and loss. But a good start for Michael van Gerwen, and he needed that early in this Premier League with the fact he didn't win a night last year and that his form's been all over the place. We'll see whether he can, and this is the thing with van Gerwen for me at the moment, just can he keep doing that on a consistent basis? But which at the moment I don't see a lot of evidence for, but off the back of the World Series where he was good and now this, hopefully things are working in the right direction for van Gerwen. It's going to have to be with all the prize money he's going to have to defend.
Oh, for sure. Well, I can't believe 16 cracks at it last year. 0 nightly wins, comes to the first installment of this year's Premier League and gets the win. It's remarkable. That's just how darts go sometimes, right? And we were talking about it last week. The Van Gerwen versus Bunting game. Whoever wins that is going to set the tone for the Premier League and potentially the year. So,
but here's the thing, and people are going to agree with this, but I thought they both played well enough where I don't think it mattered in the end. There's still the potential for both of them to go on. Stephen looks, as I said to you this in person, Stephen looks more comfortable for me. I don't know, it looked like the setup might have been a little bit different, but I'm not really sure if it was or wasn't. He was scoring reasonably well. If he was a little bit sharper on the doubles, he could have been very much in that game through the middle stage. Van Gerwen took out on 117, which really changed the complexion of the match.
Yeah, that was good.
Stephen left himself on doubles, but Van Gerwen was took his chance. I still thought Stephen played quite well, and we will see. It's a tough gig, the Premier League, as always, because you're always running into someone incredible, and that's all I did. I was like, well, I lost to this guy next week. Now I've got to play this guy. What do you mean? That's it. Just gets tougher and tougher sometimes. But I thought they both played well, and they both hopefully have set themselves up for good years for their own sakes.
Great.
4 quarterfinals of great quality. Josh Rock did really well, 101 on average in his first match, but Johnny Clayton was up there 109. Then he didn't pick it up in the second, in his second match, and that's the thing. That's what we expect for Johnny Clayton, don't we? He likes it.
Oh, we sure do.
He's great for it, but sometimes he's all over the place with his form. So can he back up in Antwerp? Stephen will certainly be hoping no, because if he gets quarterfinal Johnny from Newcastle, he'll almost certainly lose. But if he gets semi-final Johnny, he's a much better chance. And if he stays where he was in Newcastle, he's probably more likely to win than lose if Johnny averages 94. But
so true.
I was very eager. In this week was seeing Luke Littler lose, just because one, we want to see a bit of variety in the formats, and now because You know, he's playing Luke Humphries this week. Big chance he'll be left high and dry on naught after
Luke's
2 nights,
again.
which would be good for the Premier League to have
It would be.
runaway favourites not get away. And
The bottom
hopefully,
four.
and this is the one thing, if we can get a good mix, and I think I've said this before, if we get a good mix of like quarterfinal winners sort of alternating every 2 or 3 weeks, then maybe we might see a bit more variety in those semi-final and final matchups. But yeah, Littler losing to Van Veen is, I think, good for the tournament, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I agree. Well, the World Championship rematch, obviously, I said last week Van Veen would want some revenge after, again, he played well, but just in that World Championship final, he was just beyond his eighth gear, just ridiculous. But I was happy to see him get the win for sure, made all the way and just lost to Van Gerwen, who's obviously fantastic on the night. But I was really having my eye on the debutants again. I know we said earlier, but Josh Rock averaging 101. Welcome to the Premier League, mate. You got a guy who's averaging 109. You still lost. So that's part of it. That's what it's going to be throughout the duration of the tournament. So, yeah, a very good night. Very good night. And then, again, I just hope we, as you said, we get different guys in the quarterfinals who win. Because if we get the same matchups all the time, that's when it gets boring, right? But if you have guys who are alternatively winning, then you get matchups and you don't see as often. That makes it more appealing to the audience. Because again, if you just see the two Lukes make the final all the time, then that gets boring as a fan. But then on the contrast, you're like, well, it's great seeing these guys compete against each other all the time because it's going to be a good quality game. But for me personally, you want to see different quarterfinals and different semis all the time. But we'll find out how that goes over the 16 weeks.
Matt Porter did sort of half defend the Premier League format, but also said there might be some changes coming in the nearish future. So we'll wait and see that. The best thing that could happen this week is for like Bunting and Humphries to win their match. Keep Littler on to get Bunting into a semi-final early. That helps his confidence and solidifies his spot as being deserved. And ideally, Van Gerwen, I can't remember all of the matchups. I know Little Humphries playing each other and Clayton Bunting are playing each other. I can't remember the other side of the bracket. Or the other 2 matches. But because I think those
for this week.
For this week. But
I can tell you, it's Littler, Humphries, Van Gerwen, Rock, Clayton, Bunting, Price, Van Veen.
Okay, the best thing there is Humphries wins, Bunting wins, Rock wins, and Price wins would be the best results.
That's true.
An interesting Premier League if we get those. So I might end up predicting those at the end just to manifest chaos. But that's what we need. But a good start from Van Gerwen. I thought Van Veen was excellent on his opening night as well. Clayton was back with a bang. I thought everybody pretty much played, exceptional stuff. Gerwen Price nearly got away with murder, nearly beating Luke Humphries despite a 10-point difference in the average. I thought everyone played very well on the opening night, and I thought there was a great atmosphere in Newcastle. Hopefully this just build into a Premier League where we're not getting sick of it after about night 10, which is having like the last few years. Well, the year he won it, there was a bit of novelty with him being in it, being still relatively new, but hopefully we do get a good diverge of winners, but I still want them to change the format to something else.
Yeah, I know you're very keen on that, but yeah, no, it was good. It was a good way to set the tone for the Premier League. We'll find out over the next 15 weeks for sure.
As I said,
the
standings, they don't really mean anything after night 1, but for the record, Van Gerwen is on top, Van Veen is second, Clayton is ahead of Humphries on leg difference, and then it's leg difference, Price 5, Littler 6, and both Rock and Bunting lost by 4 legs. So they're technically, I don't even know what the tiebreaker is after. I assume it's legs 1 against Throw, but they both won 1 as well, so I don't know what the tiebreaker is after that, but it doesn't really matter.
Not sure.
Whatever way you want to put it, it's not 1, it doesn't matter at all.
It feels very weird seeing the purple down on the 6th spot instead of 1 or 2.
Yeah, that is weird. You'd expect it to be. It's currently below. Like stop the count. But that's what some of the more hoping that we see less of it would be saying. But look,
you don't want the count to stop.
The 4-month tournament, it doesn't. The percents don't matter too much, but as of right now, Van Gerwen is top of the Premier League. So we will see with the 1 nightly win ahead of everyone else or not. So we will see if he's able to at least sustain himself in that top 4 potentially. Van Gerwen, you'd still expect Littler and Humphries to finish up top, but look, the way it's going to go, like somebody is one of those two guys almost definitely is going to not be in the top 4 after 2 nights. So hopefully that leads into a bit of, again, variety with the matches we're seeing. But
That's
we'll
true.
just have to wait and see. Fingers crossed. But well done, Van Gerwen. See if he can back it up next week, which has been his issue at the moment. Is playing really well in 1 week and then go to the next tournament and then he's not good at all. So we will see whether he's able to get that right. I can't believe that we are seeing this. I saw this on the Dark Counter system, Josh, when I saw the draw for Players Championship 2. I was like, oh my goodness, you wouldn't believe it. Mensah Suljovic defeated Joe Cullen at the Pro Tour, and they were smiling and happy. And Joe Cullen seemed to be happy that Mensah was playing in reasonable spirits, and good to see that there's nothing too untoward between Joe Cullen and Mensah Suljovic after Mensah defeated Joe Cullen once again, this time at the Pro Tour event.
Yeah, for sure. I'm saying, can you hear that in the background? If so, I got to turn it off.
No, I can't hear anything.
No? Okay, good. There's like
just you at the moment.
thing going off. Okay, cool. So, yeah, you're exactly right. There was obviously the beef that happened in the World Championship, where you can see that's a perfect photo on the left where Mensah is doing the Cobra thing, and then Collins, he called him an arsehole. I think he called him a cheat as well in the press. Yeah. But then after that, you look at the Players Championship event, they're all smiling, happy. So that was good. I liked how he said that he was brilliant and deserved the win, because on the adverse opposite, in December, it was nothing of that language, was it? It was all negative, all cheat sort of thing. But no, it was good to see that, you can have a game or two players that dislike each other, but then you can be, 3 months later, and then they can sort of make friends again out of it. So that was a nice surprise to see, for sure.
Yeah, it was very much the definition of positive surprise. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting, kind of hoping for a bit more, but no.
No, it's good.
Well done to Joe and Mensah for sorting things out. But the Pro Tour didn't necessarily come with everybody playing their best stuff. Rainbow Barneveld continues to struggle, a 69 average, and Dimitri van den Bergh a 75 average in his most recent match. And I deliberately put the Van den Bergh with his UK Open trophy, because he's about to defend all that prize money in less than a month, after he won it 2 years ago in that controversial final. Speaking of controversy, against Luke Humphries. So it's just not looking good for Van den Bergh at the moment. He's got no form. His action is not very good at the moment, and Barney as well. Again, there was a few half decent performances, like that first round match. I don't think was too bad, if I'm remembering correctly.
It's like in the 80s.
Yeah, like in the 80s, but disastrous second round performance. Yeah, so it's hard to see at the moment. Either of these two guys turning it around in recent-ish styles, and they're at risk of tour cards being taken away from them if they don't turn around a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, we don't like seeing Dimmy being, in the low form he can be, and obviously Barney, well, look, he's in the later part of his career, as we know, but to bow out that way, it's a bit sad to see. We'll see in the next one if they can pick it back up again. Hopefully it's just an outlier of it all.
Yeah, you'd hope so, but I don't think it will. I think this is very much a manifestation of where they're going in their careers. I do think, though, that the 65 average from Schindler, which is our disappointing line, probably is an outlier, because he was back in the 90s.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, that came out of nowhere. And when you see someone like a Martin Schindler average 65, you're immediately thinking, like, has he got like a really serious problem? Because someone of his talent should not be averaging 65. And
no, of course not.
Yeah, it was just one of those times where you couldn't throw straight to save yourself. But again, there were a couple of bounce back performances. But he's also another one where it feels like a bit like Just Rock was for a couple of years, where we're sort of like we're expecting him to be at the top end of town soon enough, and it just hasn't quite happened for Martin Schindler. And Darth is big in Germany, but it'd get even bigger if one of these guys, a Martin Schindler, like Max Hopp threatened this many moons ago, and Gabriel Clemens, if they just, we saw earlier, hit the 9 data, if there was, for one of these guys just to go on and, win a major or make a world championship final, like, we're kind of waiting for that German to do that.
To break out, yeah.
And again, Darts is big in Germany, but we just haven't seen that yet from someone like that. And Schindler feels like he has that possibility at the moment, but just it isn't happening at the moment. He's sort of again a bit like our man Damon Heta. It just feels like is this gonna happen? Is this gonna happen, Josh?
We've just been waiting for it. Well, I think you said like a few months ago at least that we're waiting for a German player to break out. Schindler,
Yeah.
Clemens, these couple guys at least, but it just hasn't happened. Will it ever happen next few months? I don't know. Obviously, I hope so. I really do hope so because I like Schindler and he's very, very good at his best, but we just haven't seen it at all. So, but obviously, darts is a crazy game, as we know, and that is subject to change. But it'd be nice to see him sort of go on and make a really, really deep run or win a major. Obviously, that'd be really, really cool.
Yes, now I did mention Damo. At the moment, he is barely, and I do mean barely, in the World Match Play qualification, Josh. He's the 32nd man in at the moment, 16 on the Pro Tour. He's not in the world's top 16, as we know, he's one number 19. But I bring up the match play race because I do wonder, if there's any chance that Beau Graves could get into 2 match plays. She's won over this 100. This is out of date now. It's 113, I think it is.
Yeah, it is out of date. Yeah.
On the women's series after she won the 4 titles this week, which is it's absolutely ridiculous how far she is ahead, and made the last 16 in her first Pro Tour outing, lost in the first round to Rob Cross in Players Championship 2, but it is what she's doing at the moment is exceptional. Is there any hope, Josh, that a world match play, a world Grand Prix maybe, can she get herself, are we expecting, Pro Tour wins and maybe a few Euro Tour runs if she's able to get into them? Could we see her at Blackpool or at Leicester later in the year?
She's good enough. She's bloody good enough, mate. I'll tell you that much. I hope so. I really
you look
do.
at those guys like a Van Barneveld who's just outside the World Match Play qualification. You think I reckon she'd play better than Van Barneveld at the moment. She's more used to winning than Barney right now.
Yeah, sure.
Pro Tour and women's series things that she's picking up. I think Match Play might come a little soon, but Grand Prix could be a chance. There aren't many people who've gone like straight from getting a tour card to getting the World Match Play in the first half of the year. Littler did it, but of course he made a world final. I think Stephen Bunting did do it. Glenn Durrant definitely did it. There might be a few other names. Not all of them necessarily came straight from Q School, like Littler and Bunting got their tour cards. Not from Q School, Glenn Durrant did. It's a narrow path of those who have done it. Obviously, plenty to be done. But the fact that she's getting Pro Tour ranking money immediately off the back of the things like the World Masters qualifier and
it's great.
Championship events, it is strong. And I do believe that it'll happen at some point, I think. Hopefully,
the more money she can accumulate, obviously, the better. Helps for sure.
And I think she can definitely get into the world's top 64 in 2 years' time.
What's she currently now? In the main order of merit, you're saying?
Yeah, eventually. Yeah, in 2 years' time, you need to be in the. She'll need to be in the world's top
103
at the end of Where is that again? Sorry.
103.
Yeah, 103. Yeah. Obviously, she's only played the ranking events, the World Masters qualifier, and 2 Pro Tours.
4K. Yeah.
But I will say, a lot of those guys around her, she's definitely better than, and she's very used to picking up wins now. Do you think the women's series would benefit from her jumping in? Because the other thing is, if she gets in the top 64, she won't be able to play the women's series. Is that beneficial for the women's series just to give someone else a chance at the moment?
Well, obviously she's the standards, and she's the standard in the women's series for sure. But there's just no one beating her at the moment. She is just that far ahead in that competition that there's no one touching her at the moment. It's not. Then we love seeing her compete as much as she can with the men because she's good enough, obviously. But does it do good or harm if she's not there in the women's series? I don't know. I can't answer that.
I think it's good for those players. It feels like
players, yes.
Have that additional story about it though. Is the thing.
The players for sure, yeah, because the playing field can be a bit more, can be tighter. But with her in the mix, it's impossible. It's impossible.
Pretty much, extraordinary stuff. She'll as long as if she plays loads of bets, she don't need to worry about like the Grand Slam and the World Championship. She'll get in
Nah.
that way if she doesn't come through the Pro Tour anyway. But I feel like she does have that. She does have that chance. But like the Euro Tour qualifiers that are coming up, like the day after we record this, will be interesting, and I'll be keeping an eye on them, both for Adam Layton and Beau Graves, just to see if they can jump on a Pro Tour sort of thing. I was going to say something about Adam Lake, but we've got a slide for him later on, so until then. Future star time. The Dutch Open was held, and that'll be the first thing we talk about in the latest news as well. Strong event as it always is. This is such a huge event. There's like 200 boards. It's just massive, and there's so many. Well, that's it had a board like 201. Now I'm not sure if there's actually 200 boards or not, but that's what the number is to. Paige Pauling and Eric Pertrate won in the boys and girls singles. I should bring up because there was like it wasn't millions, but there was a long list of categories and different things going on. And this is Paul Cronin who won the men's, or the Open, I should say now. It's WDF. The Open singles event. Look at that last 64, by the way. And I did want to double check this. An 87 average has won 4-3 against a 67 average. What happened there was the guy averaging 67 had 3 21-dart legs, and then Paul Cronin's other legs were like 13, 14, 14, and 19 or something. So
that's ridiculous.
He nearly got away with one there. Let's see. Let me go to the match center of the Dutch Open here on Dial Counter. What do we've got?
How about that top 16 game?
Coming up. Yeah, exactly.
June 5?
Open. And so here's what was on at the weekend. Open pairs, women's pairs, Paradite pairs, open singles, women's singles, Paradite singles standings, Paradite singles wheelchair, open under 14, girls singles, open under 18. So the open under 18, so the open under 14 was won by Petret, I mentioned. The open under 18 was won by Milan Vanatrite from Belgium. The girls singles was won by Paige Pauling. So that was that side of things there. The women's singles, I need to that's only listed semi-final. That doesn't have the final listed here, but it was Praliska Stenbergen from the Netherlands was the winner of the women's singles event. It's an interesting format, the Dutch Open, with those singles events, because they have it as leg play, and then it moves into set play for the semi-finals and finals. It's all a bit weird.
Interesting. It's weird, yeah.
And that's why the numbers don't look the same. Like it's with those quarterfinals, semi-finals.
Say
5 everything, and then it gets to a first to 2 set play semis, first to 3 leg set play final.
Finals, yeah.
And the winner in the open singles, which is what I found was listed there. Jensen Walker also made a run to the semi-final as well. You'll know that name, Josh.
I do. Yes, I do.
Anna Bottenberg was also in the other semi-final as well. So he had a very good weekend. But there was a lot of familiar... Whoops, that's Binksy. We'll get back to Binksy in a second. But there were some familiar names. In the open pairs, Mike... hang on, let me find this first before I say anything. Mike Kunnehaven won alongside Dirk van Dijvenbode. He's also in the other side. I'm not sure how the PDC tour card holders are allowed to show up there. Maybe
no idea.
Because Jimmy Van Ski was also there against Danny Van Tribe. They were playing the other pairs final.
Tour card holder,
Martins, Chris Landman were other names people will be very familiar with. So not sure how they got involved, but Dirk van Dijvenbode picked up the title early in the year, which is a strong start for Dirk.
That's great.
I wonder if they give him the same walk on when he's in Perth. Probably not. But yes. So
probably hard style.
Part of the Dutch Open WDF Pairs Champions this year. Strong Style, the always good event there in Assen. There at the start of February. And so the Dutch Open happening over the weekend. Saw bits and pieces of it, but strong event, and there was nothing really on the JDC side of things. That's where I had to go for the WDF side of things for the Dutch Open for the future star Paige Pauling, who's in this segment semi-regularly picking up titles.
Cheers.
But our man Josh, as we move into the latest news, we knew this. He told us this when we went to Melbourne, but we couldn't really divulge that sort of thing. I did get to it at the end of the World Championship, when basically everybody knew, it just wasn't official yet. Owen Binks will replace George Noble as the fourth caller or fourth referee on the PDC professional circuit. Clearly the best option by some distance.
Oh, no
Vinci
doubt.
was
He's incredible.
what was he made aware again, Josh?
He said 6 months ago so there was an interview on the Modus YouTube channel. Go and check that out. It is fantastic. And I think he said to Henry Deacon it was 6 months ago, which was 2 months prior to the ANZ Premier League, I want to say.
Yeah,
So I think like August, September-ish, I'm pretty sure.
So he would have known fairly early that he was going to be the one that the PDC had tapped to replace George Noble. Again, clearly the best option. Does some great stuff. And it's once again a great advertisement for the Modus Super Series. It's not only giving us
no doubt
on the Pro Tour, it's giving us referees.
It's great. It's great. Well, he's done so much work in that Portsmouth facility. Like it gets used so often for obviously weekly tournaments, Champions Week, ADC, a couple of junior tournaments go there as well. So it's such a good facility, and I'm sure he'll miss it, you know. But I think he's still going to be. I'm pretty sure he's going to be around there doing some spotting at times in the bunker. So that'll be good. But obviously he'll be on the circuit more than not full time. So which is fantastic. But he is so well deserving. He's such a good guy. Obviously, we had the absolute pleasure and honor of meeting him and having an interview with him. So that was, that was a moment in my life that I'll never forget in the darting landscape, at least. But yeah, beyond incredible, thoroughly deserved, and a huge, huge congratulations. He is without a doubt the best figure for that fourth ref, no doubt.
He's going to start, I think it says it somewhere here, night 6.
Yeah, night 6, I think it was.
Which is the night after the UK Open. He probably will go to the UK Open and be on the second stage like he was at the Players' Championship Finals, which is when...
Nottingham, night 6. Yeah.
Yeah, but night 6 will be when he makes his Premier League debut. I wonder what match he'll get there for his first one. That'll be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to hear Owen Binks in the specific PDC rooms. Like, I'm very used to hearing him at Modus. It might take a little while to hear that voice at a World Match Play, at a World Grand Prix, at a World Championship, on the Premier League, that sort of thing. It might just get a bit used to, even though I think everyone who follows does very closely, very familiar with Owen Binks. And his content and his refereeing style. It might still feel a little bit out of place on the Premier League for those first few weeks. But well done, Binksy. He was the best man for the job. There was no real alternative. So he is the George Noble replacement. We'll see him at night 6. We'll probably see him at the UK Open as well. And
I think he will. Yeah. Go and watch that interview, guys. It's fantastic. It's on the Modus YouTube channel. It's outstanding. He was saying that he always wanted to be a ref, didn't want to be a player since he was like 11, 12 years old, and he was said by the PDC to just be patient, keep working on your game, and he's finally got the opportunity that he so thoroughly deserves. So it's a really good story, and it's great to see him. Well done, for sure. Well done.
So we should actually really talk about the winners of those Players' Championship events. We've talked a lot about like the funny moments and things going bad. Let's talk about some of the guys who actually won it. Event 1, James Wade, doing a lot of wading here, winning matches that he probably shouldn't have, at least based on average. But it's still it was very steady James Wade sort of performance, getting a victory over Nathan Aspinall in the final to get a Pro Tour title right off the bat as well. Beating Van Gerwen along the way, and Joe Cullen and Mincer Sulovic. So a strong start to the year for Wade. And then Wessel Nijman. This is a great story because we know, again, Wessel Nijman's another one we're just waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
100 averages all the way. I felt sorry for Big Price because he averaged 100 for all.
That was an incredible game.
And
that was
didn't win.
So good. That was so good.
And the final was absolutely excellent. Takeaways from the two winners, Josh? Anything you wanted to say in particular?
Overall, or from the players?
Specifically about the two guys who won.
Yeah, sure. Well, we'll start with the first one, Wadey. Obviously, it was good to see him get that first win. Aspinall, Van Gerwen, Cullen, and all in last the starters as well. Oh, sorry, Aspinall wasn't. The semi-final, quarter-final, obviously won by that one leg. So it was very solid across the board. It was just sort of a traditional Wadey performance, I guess.
Yeah.
Not, remarkable, but not also on the flop end of it. But just solid. I think that's the way to put it, I think. And then for Nijman, obviously, he had gears over 100 in 4 games. Impressive number-wise, that's for sure. 104, 106, 100, 102. and every other game in excess of 90. So again, remarkable stuff. And he looked very dominant throughout, except obviously getting to the final where he was challenged by Private 107.41 to be exact. Just remarkable. But he got himself over the line and well deserved, I reckon. What about you?
Yeah, I'm very happy to see Wessel pick up a title because again he's promising and it's just transferring that onto the TV stage at the moment. He knows he's got his areas to improve. I agree with what you said on
We've been waiting for that.
James Wade performance of being very steady Eddie along the way. But yeah, Wessel very impressive, getting all the way to not only getting to the final, but picking up a title as well early on in the year, which is good for him to settle down and knows that he can come through a big field. Obviously, a lot of the big Premier League guys are the Littlers of the world, and there was no Stephen Bunting and a few other guys, but still plenty of strong players there. Obviously, top end players there that were dispatched off by both Players Championship event winners. So well done to the two of them. Now, the World Cup of Darts, Josh, one of our favourite events. We love the World Cup of Darts, don't we? And we've got plenty of news on it. First, so confirmation on the competing nations for the BetVictor World Cup of Darts, which will take place from June 11th to 14th. Remember, Northern Ireland are the defending champions. And at the moment, and obviously a Sky Sports event, at the moment I'm going to read you out in alphabetical order, Josh. The confirmed competing nations are Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada, China, Croatia, Czechia, England, France, Germany, Hong Kong, Hungary, India, Italy, Japan, Latvia, Lithuania, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Northern Ireland, Norway, Philippines, Poland, Portugal, the Republic of Ireland, Scotland, Slovenia, South Africa, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, the United States of America, and Wales.
Wow, there you go.
Those ones are confirmed. There is an African qualifier on March the 22nd, so that's actually not too far away. There will be three Asian Tour qualifiers where our fingers are crossed and our toes are crossed that Singapore and Paul Lim get through. There will be a Caribbean qualifier at a date to be confirmed, and a Nordic and Baltic couple of other nations will be confirmed on April the 26th. The big thing in there is no Gibraltar, who've been there for every other edition, no Bahrain, who's been familiar on the last few. If you remember at the last World Cup of Darts, Bahrain played their first match, and the Bhutan flag was shown on the graphic by Sky Sports right at the start. It's like, and it was funny because the Bahrain shirt was literally the Bahrain flag. So it's like, how did you mess that one up? So no Bahrain and no Gibraltar at this year's World Cup of Darts. Same format with the 12 groups of 3 and the top 4 being guaranteed into the second round. I was kind of reading, hoping that there'd be like small changes to the format or something, but I don't think that will be the case.
I think so.
So Slovenia will make their long-awaited return with Benjamin Pratmar headlining the team after he won his tour card of the European Q School.
Yep.
But one of the things that is confirmed was the fact that there we know Mason Whitlock and Adam Malik does indeed get his turn to represent Australia at the World Cup of Darts alongside Simon Whitlock, which is the right decision for as good as Simon has been and continues to be after winning the ANZ Premier League with the tour card holder at the moment. It had to be Lake and Heta. And I think it'll be good for Australia to see a slightly different combination after all these years of seeing similar guys there. And I do think, and again, I spoke to you about this in person, that I feel like, and Adelic has said this himself, he's a stage player. So he will get at least one opportunity, and he'll probably at the World Series events as well. Those additional opportunities to prove himself on a big stage, and there'll be a little bit of less pressure on him. The fact that he won't be throwing every single turn, obviously, Damo will and he will alternate. But I'm excited to see Adam Lake at the World Cup, Josh.
Oh, for sure. No, he's been long awaiting, that's for sure. Obviously, let's give a big shout out to Simon first. Obviously, so many years of service towards the game, obviously number one, but obviously to Australian darts. Obviously, 2022 was such a magical year for Aussie darts, lifting up that trophy in Frankfurt, Germany, alongside Header. That's probably one of the best World Cup moments for Australia, no doubt. Obviously, Paul Nicholson was really great as well. It's the best, absolutely. Not one of
so it's the only win.
The only win, that's for sure. What am I talking about? So obviously they've had such a good chemistry together, but Simon has officially passed the baton over to Leek, and it'll be great to see how the dynamic goes between Leek and Header. They obviously need to build their chemistry together, and they've got up until July to do so. But yeah, it'd be good to see Leek come in. But obviously, shout out to Lock for his service. But a new face enters the arena in Aussie darts. See how that goes. Hey, exciting times.
One thing we should have mentioned earlier in the episode was the fact that so Adam Leake has played and lost his first couple of first round matches on the Pro Tour.
Yes.
His first match was against Justin Hood, who then put in some fantastic performances on the floor.
Chinese restaurants.
Championship event, won Mr. Chinese Restaurant. Great stuff to see Justin Hood putting in some good performances after he nearly let that match against Leake slip as well. I think it was like 5-1 or 5. I think it might have been 5-1 up, and Leake clawed it back to 5-4, but Justin Hood was able to get over the line. And then Greg Ritchie beat Leake this morning. But with, again, those Euro Tour qualifiers, we will be all over Adam Leake's journey. And again, part of me was hoping that Mason would also get on the tour so we could have this, dynamic every week of the race for the second Australian spot at the World Cup of Darts. There's only 5 months to do it. But not to be, we know who our pairing will be. And again, to have those two tour card holders will also help us with a slightly better seeding as well.
That's true.
Two tour card holders and not the one.
Good point.
Because they'll be a jump ahead of the nations with just the one tour card holder. Well done, obviously, Alec, for getting that card and getting underway and getting himself over there as well, which is a tough thing to do. But
yes, very tough.
Over there to the UK to play on the Pro Tour, and fascinated to see how he goes. And if he can get into like a Euro through, he's going to have to win stuff on the floor to get in, which is sort of the way it works. Like you can't get into match play unless you win on the Pro Tour. You can't get into the World Championships unless you win on the Pro Tour or you go through the floor with that last chance qualifier. So he's going to have to win on the floor. He did it pretty reasonably well at the ADA. I think he was in he was 5th or 6th something on the ADA Order of Merit at the end of the year. But he's certainly going to need to have some decent enough Pro Tour form. He doesn't need to be outstanding. He only needs to win like every second or third Pro Tour event on average to get into Minehead, that sort of thing. So they should be the main targets at the moment. But we will guarantee seeing him on a stage, and also fascinated to see how he goes at the UK Open as well. Could he be one that you never know gives a surprise to a big name when they get drawn together? We will see.
That'd be cool.
See.
Well, we look forward to it, that's for sure. He's been saying he thrives on the big stage, so when he gets that opportunity, let's see what he's got. The boy from Adelaide, look forward to it. You've got some UK Open qualifying news.
UK Open qualifiers, they've been going on. These are not names that I'm particularly familiar with, which I actually like, because that's what the amateur qualifiers should be about the UK Open. It should be guys we've never really heard of getting their dreams to play on a big stage. So 8 from the Peterson community and 8 from Riley's. Jack Todd, Cliff Langford, Kylie Gilding, and Callum Francis, I think was the most recent one, through the PDC community. And then Neil Wild, Sean Ryan, Daniel Lee, and Oliver King on the Riley side of things. Still a few qualifiers left to go, so 8 spots left in the amateur qualifiers to get to the UK Open, which is in March. Which is always a fascinating it is probably my favorite event. It's absolutely brilliant with the open draw and the unique elements of it, and the multi rooms and the multi-board room, which just looks absolutely like peak darts. Darts heaven is that multi-board room at the UK Open on the Friday afternoon. It's like all this darts going on. But we'll keep an eye on all of this. I know there's a lot of talk about is there where all these qualifiers, where they occur and whether you're easily able to access them? We're not from the UK, so we can't really add on top of that, other than these are the 8. There's 8 still to go, and the UK Open is coming up. Modus, Josh. I did watch
action, as
always. At the time when it wrapped up, these were the guys who made their way into finals night, and it was Radek Szymanski, a very familiar name. He's come straight off the Pro Tour, straight to Modus, and he looks very good for my money. 4 for 6 on the doubles was excellent. A 4-2 win over Carl Wilson, who was also very good from what I saw.
At 8 average, 4-2. Fun fact, the first 3 weekly winners, all of the results have been 4-2.
I did see this as well.
If you're a stat guy like me, so I thought that was kind of funny. But 8 average in the end, 4 from 6 on the doubles, pretty sharp, 180. So he's the third name into Series 13 champions. So we move to week 4 this week, and there is one man in Group A who was so close to getting his tour card. You know the guy who I'm talking about, and he's back on the stage. I was really hoping he would get one, but he was so close on that last day. He was on that fringe, and his name is Derek Coulson. He is back at the Live Lounge again. So unfortunate.
You said it, and I was again. I'm slightly worried that I might have missed it. I wasn't really looking, and then my eyes went straight over Derek Coulson. I was like, "That's the guy. That's the guy."
That's the guy. Obviously, he would have
One
been
day, Josh,
devastated.
fingers crossed, one day he's surely we get Derek Colson on the Pro Tour.
He's good enough. He's bloody good enough, that's for sure. So he returns. He loves the motor stage for sure. So he'll be eager to hopefully pick up another weekly title. Jamie Owens also features Colin Osborne, who's a regular there. Ashley Coleman, the Prince of Darkness, he's there as well. So yeah, good few names this week. And obviously we've got the weekly winners wrapped up there. Steve Green, Kinu Van Velzen, and Savansky, obviously those three there. And we got the week 4. Sorry,
that's week 3 again. I'm not sure. That should have been deleted.
Sorry, I should have been deleted.
Yeah, some of these slides should have been deleted. That's okay.
There we go.
Yeah. Can you find the standings of the current Modus Super Series as we speak right now, Josh, on this Wednesday in Melbourne, or if it's too much bother? Or would you rather talk about you beating me again? Is that what you'd rather?
I couldn't find that quick enough, but I think I've seen a little bit of action. I think Coulson's doing pretty well, so I can chase it up a bit later.
I haven't watched Josh, but I believe that.
This is interesting. 3-0 win. We finally got a 9 Dart podcast Dark Counter fixture after a long wait. And
and then we tried to do one on the Sunday, and then my phone wasn't working because Dark Counter didn't like the fact that I hadn't set my phone time settings to something really specific. It was very weird.
Strange.
But we got going, and we both hit. We hit top 40 back to back, Josh, as well. I'd want to throw out the high score. We didn't just each hit a top 40. They were back to back. Yours was first and second dart. Mine was first and third dart. But. Excellent stuff. I had 1 dart at double 12 for the first leg.
Missed.
It did miss by much. Josh made me punish, and then I
made you pay on top straight away.
Too slowly. That was my problem. 36.89 through the first 9. It was way too slow, and I was too far back. But Josh, a 63 check out to win it as the highest out there, and
18 dart leg.
You're just playing absolutely fantastic. Are you going to sign up for the ADA in Melton, Josh? Is this where this is going? Is this Q School in 2 or 3 years with the way you've progressed over here against me?
Maybe, I don't know. We'll find out. But unfortunately, the Darts Down Under League.
Okay, maybe not. Maybe not.
Again,
52 average, extraordinary stuff. But you were
I know.
Out to doubles. So here's the funny thing. Last week you won 6-0.
I know.
Last week you were giving out bagels. This time you've been given
Inverse opposite. Yeah. Well, the tally was as follows. Yes, it was a 6-0 loss. But JP will be the first to tell you, and he told me instantly that the scoreline wasn't an accurate reflection of the game. It was a very, very good contest. I just didn't get many darts to the double. He did, and he made me pay. 6 out of 12, 50% on the doubles, 22 darts best leg, and very, very solid on the averages overall. So again,
but that's not the highlight. That's not the interesting thing on this little graphic here, Josh. It tells you a lot.
Hang on. But I gotta say, I will give credit where it's due. It was very, very good. He said he's played the best he's ever played or something, or at least for a while. But no, he was very, very good. So when that happens, sure, it's frustrating your head when you're averaging 52 when you're starting off legs well. But hey, sometimes your opponent's just better in the end, and that's what it was. Frustrating because, you know me, I hate losing. But hey, is what it is. He was very, very good. Well played.
But Josh, Dart Counter, Darts gives you a lot of stats. It gives you checkout rates and highest finishes and best and worst legs and first 9 averages. But the most interesting number on this graphic, and on the other graphic too with the breakdown, is there is one solitary mark in the 180 columns. I imagine it's the next slide. This was how the game progressed from an average sort of point of view. Where is it? Surely here it is.
It's that one there. If you want to have a look.
Yes.
Yes.
What darts are you using there, Josh? You were using the same against me. Which ones are these?
I'll tell you. Yes. So they are the actual dart itself is the Rob Cross 21 gram one I use, and then I purchased the Josh Rock K-Flex flight from Dart World that had one left in stock, and I really wanted it, and it flies really, really well. So actually,
I've used. I think the next slide is the one. Oh no, hang on. I'm going to get back to this in a moment. Where's my 162, Josh? Where's it gone?
You put it at the very, very end.
Why is it at the end? Oh, geez, I meant to move it up a little bit. Anyway, I wanted to do this. I hit a 162. I said this last week, and I wanted to throw in the photo. So there it is. 3 treble 18s. It was off the back of a 308 to leave, or 302 it might have been. No, 308 to leave 146. That's what it was. I was very happy. I just wanted to throw that in there. I will say, going back to let's go back a few slides here.
Go back to.
You and I both need to turn the board more, Josh. There's plenty of good trebles.
Oh, yeah.
The treble 8, the treble 14. There's some good trebles there still to be used. So
there is.
We need to give it another turn, Josh.
Need to rotate it a little bit more, that's for sure. If you go back one slide, sorry. to the other stats. One more. Yeah, so again here, leg 4, perfect example. We're both averaging in the 60s. I hit the 180 in that leg, and it just wasn't good enough. It was better. I think he had a ton 40 in there or something, and then on the left side there's the 3-night average per leg. I like looking at these stats actually. So
Yeah, it's
he's
giving
starting
them.
off better.
Duck is giving us more and more of these sort of
It's
like
great.
average
It's
per
really
leg.
good.
So that's great stuff. We don't need to watch the
Too
one
good in
at
the
the
end.
end. This is
Well
where
played.
you're sort of right in the meat to the sandwich at the moment, Josh.
I am. I have
Where you were last
slid.
time when you were all the way up at the top end of town for most of the way until you made yourself favourite and then have only won the one game since. I keep reminding you of that one. 11th out
You
of
do.
18.
No, that's fair. That's very fair. No, it was a bit of a reality check, and it continues to be so. But no, I need to pick up my game. There's still a long way to go. I think it's 10 weeks or 12 weeks. Even though it's an expanded field, I'm not sure. I'd have to ask him. But look, I've still got hope to try and get to a playoff position. But at the moment, I've got some work to do. That's for sure.
Yeah, shout out to JP and everyone at the at Darth Down Under. Friends of the show, I would call the guys.
Yeah,
They're
they
friends
are.
of the show.
He loves
friends of them.
having listened to this, well, especially this part. He sent me a text saying that he's looking forward to listening to this part of the show next week. So, again, he's got his praise, as much deserved. Much deserved. He was very, very good. There's the stats for
Yeah.
up until week 4. Not too bad at all.
And week 5, where are you on here, Josh? I haven't seen. Oh, you're right down the bottom against Greg.
Yes, and what is Greg at the moment? He is, I'm looking at the table. Oh, he's one above me. So he's 1 win,
Okay.
1 draw, 2 losses as well. He's pretty much bang on the same as me. So that could be a close contest for sure.
Right, Josh, let's make some predictions. Week 2 of the night 2
do it.
of the Premier League. They used to call it weeks, now it's nights. Now nobody knows. Night 2 Premier League. 8th Antwerp. Looking forward to this one mightily. I want to do what I said earlier, and that's just really throwing up some crazy results here. I'm gonna try and manifest some chaos, as Dan Simpson always says. Let's make it crazy here. Right, Luke Humphreys first night. Let's try and see if we can forecast what's going to happen. Josh, 4 quarterfinals. Give me your winners. Luke Littler, Luke Humphreys. How are you going to see this one? I'm going to go Humphreys 6-4. I'm now fully committed to trying and getting like the best results possible from a enjoyment point of view of the Premier League. So Littler is 0-2 after 2 nights, and it won't mean anything.
On 0 points.
On not 0 points. Like, I'm going to have Stephen ahead of him.
Could happen. I also like Humphreys for sure. I think he's in some pretty good form at the moment. I'll give him another leg though. We'll go 6-5.
Last leg decided. Would love to see it. Josh Rock played beautifully this week. MVG won the night.
Was great.
Is used to not backing up, and I think Rock he's only playing one night, and yet it feels like he's almost due for a win in the Premier League.
Crazy.
6-3 to Rock.
Yep. Same results. I reckon it'll be 6-4 though. I'll give MVG another leg. I don't think he'll get 2 in a row, but I hope Rocky can at least make the semis. So 6-4.
I'm going to keep doing this bit until he wins a match. Bunting 6-5 over Clayton. I'm going to give him 6-5 wins until he wins. He's playing Van Veen and Humphreys in the next 2 weeks, so he needs to win now. He's going to make me look like an idiot if people are going to take this out of context, saying, "Oh, he's predicted Bunting." Like it's a bit thing. I'm a big Bunting guy, and I still am, even though everyone else is.
You sure?
I'm now more a Bunting guy. 6-5 to Stephen, but I think there is a good chance, given how well he played in week 1 and the fact that Clayton can sometimes go up and down, but. You know, if he doesn't win this week, we could be in trouble for the next few weeks. But come on, Stephen, 6-5, let's do it. First night in Antwerp, you got to make some history.
I'm going to split this one. I'll go Clayton in this one, just to make it interesting. Well, I don't know. It could be close. I think Bunting will get off a good fight. We'll go 6-4.
All right, and Price Van Veen. Now manifesting.
This will be a good one.
This should be a good one. Price 6-4
for a really good one.
Because Van Veen won last week and Price did it. That's how I'm making all of these tips. I pick the guys who haven't won just out of the hope. But I do think they're all decent chances.
They are. Oh, of course, they're all decent chances. It's the best 8, So Van Veen, I'll go Van Veen 6-4 as well. Oh, sorry, not as well, but 6-4 Van Veen.
6-4 scoreline the same.
Yes.
Josh, I'll go first for the final. I'm going to have a repeat, and we're going to have it's going to be literally a repeat of the of what we saw on night one between these two. Humphreys and Price are going to meet in the final, and Luke Humphreys is going. The defending Premier League champion is going to pick up a 6-5 win once again over Gerwen Price. Hopefully, this time in terms of averages, it's a little bit closer. But 6-5 Humphreys. Humphreys wins the first night in Antwerp. As it'll be an important thing, like being the best player on that opening night in Belgium. Like, no one will be able to take that away from you. You'll always have that.
That's right. Exactly right. Okay. For me, I don't think Josh Rock will progress to the final, unfortunately. I think Humphreys will be just that little bit too good. So he makes the final. Other end of the bracket, I see Clayton winning. So I'll go Humphreys, Clayton, and Johnny B. Good, I reckon, will win. Maybe a bit of a different one, but I think it'll be close. We'll go 6-4 Clayton to pick up his first nightly win.
I know he doesn't do anything on the walk-ons particularly special, but it always amuses and frustrates me when people point to Bunting and Aspinall and like, oh, they only get picked for their walk-on, as if Johnny doesn't walk on to like one of the greatest songs ever written.
That is true. Oh, it's a great song. Great song.
Anyway, Darts Archive from last week. I told you all to watch. Like, this was better than anything that the Premier League has offered in the last 3 years outside of finals night. The night in Bournemouth. I was, funnily enough, again, this venue was mentioned on the live lounge. Phil Bars was like, it's too small. They can't go back to it now, the BIC. So that's a bit unfortunate, if that's the case. There's not a lot. It's like Brighton and London. Now that we've got rid of Exeter, it's the only ones like in the real south. Yeah, but Phil Taylor, Rainbow Barneveld played for the first time in the Premier League. It was billed as this big event. It was a tussle for a lot of the way through. Then Taylor went ahead 7-3, and you're thinking, I'll probably do this. But Barney was able to snatch a draw. Taylor missed one match start at tops. Great night, great atmosphere. And this hopefully we can get back to a Premier League that's a lot like this, Josh, because I think this is a better version of it. Barney hit a 9-darter in his first match of the night against Peter Manley, the first one ever in the Premier League. There was also, funnily enough, the first match was a Barney win, but then the next 3 matches that were played, it was Colin Lloyd played Wayne Mardle. The match between the first two was Ronnie Baxter was playing Roland Sholton, and then Taylor Barney. They were all 7-7 draws. So we've got 3 of them to the last 3 matches of the night were all 7-7 draws. So that's where I went last week. I have no idea and just was a bit late putting this in. Where are we going?
We're going to 2010. Whitlock, obviously, we know we talked about him earlier, so I thought I'd put him in again. James Wade, this is the playoff night in the 2010 Premier League semi-final. It's his first to 8 legs in this one. A younger-looking Wizards took on Wade in a classic game. Wade had a very good start, winning 4 of the first 5. But Whitlock bounces back pretty well in this one, wins the next 4, takes on, and then 5-4 takes the lead. A very close finish with a few missed doubles, that one. So tune into that one. It's a very, very good finish.
I think I might have done that one earlier last year. It doesn't really matter.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, I think I did. I can't remember now, but I'm pretty sure I might have done that one. It doesn't really matter. We can have a few. Like I might just every time we get the chance, I might just ask people because I watched it again to watch the Michael van Gerwen and John Henderson game from Aberdeen in 2019. Which just keep. I almost do that as my darts archive every week. Just watch that match. It's like it's awesome. That's what
it's hard to find a full game that you sort of haven't done before. It can be hard.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure because I look if I haven't watched it or not, and I'm like,
yeah, I'm gonna go back through and do a full list of the matches we've done.
That's a good idea. Good idea, actually.
That might be easier. But it's
Let's do that.
You know, every now and then we should get reminders to watch a match again. So I'm not completely opposed to it a couple twice, but I'm pretty sure I did the one last year.
No problem.
But that's okay. Again, it's fitting with we're talking about Whitlock early and James
exactly. That was my thought process.
So if you didn't watch when I asked you to do it last year, maybe you can give that one a watch. Darts Archive is all about watching the classic matches and learning a bit of the history of the sport, especially for those who have only started watching it in the last couple of years, because there's some thrilling matches in the archive.
Of course.
Even though I will, to your point, Josh, Darts doesn't have like the strongest archive on YouTube at the moment, so
no, it's not great. It does. It can be for sure.
Right, that concludes the episode. Another strong episode, Josh, as always. The podcast room is getting closer. I don't know if we'll be in it next week or in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully by episode 50.
Hopefully a fortnight.
We should try and see if we work out anything special for episode 50. In the vein of this podcast, we should probably just pretend like it's any other week. But
we'll try to do something cool for it. See how we go.
right. And thank you very much for listening. At one point, it did have like internet connection issues or something. So hopefully, it all has worked out. I think we'll be fine.
Sailing.
But Antwerp this week in the Premier League, we'll keep an eye on those Eurotour qualifiers. I also wanted to mention right here at the end, I saw as part of, I think, that interview Analink did with Stream Live, a promo for the ADA that was like a slightly different format on like the Sundays. I think it's set play, which I thought was interesting. That should be coming up in a couple of weeks as well. So we look forward to
ADA.
the ADA getting underway there in Perth. Keep an eye on all of the international affiliate tours as well over the years. Always. Well done, Josh.
Well done. Yes, Instagram, obviously YouTube, Spotify. We've got 10 5-star reviews now. Look, a couple of days ago. So
that reminds me, this
the algorithm,
podcast
guys.
will fingers crossed be made available as an audio only before the Premier League night, because I forgot to do it last week. I put it up on the Friday morning because I forgot. I woke up Friday morning, and before I even thought about the Premier League draft, the first thing was like, rats, I didn't do the 9 Dart pod in the audio format. So hopefully I'll do that on the Thursday.
No problem.
It's up
10 5-star reviews. How good. Happy days.
It's hard to believe, Josh.
It's
hard to believe. But thank you very much for those who have done that. And
much appreciated.
And following us wherever you get your podcasts. That concludes another edition, Josh. Any last words?
No, good fun. Premier League tomorrow morning Aussie time. Sorry, Friday morning Aussie time. Apologies.
Yeah, tomorrow morning if you're listening on audio, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Getting ahead of myself. But yeah, it should be a good week of darts. And very well done.
This has been the 9 Dart Podcast.